The galactic stage was vast, ancient, and indifferent. The Council of Dominion, a coalition of the most powerful interstellar empires, ruled over the known universe with an iron grip. Thousands of species lived under their banner, some as equals, most as vassals, and a few as slaves. But there was one species that barely warranted a mention, a forgotten anomaly from the backwater planet known as Earth. Humanity, once explorers of the stars, had been beaten down, subjugated, and reduced to a primitive existence within their own solar system. The Dominion had deemed them unworthy centuries ago. Their early ventures into space had attracted the attention of the Zorthar, a warrior race that prided itself on crushing weaker civilizations before they could rise. The Zorthar arrived in force, overwhelming Earth's defenses in mere days. They bombarded major cities, enslaved the survivors, and stripped the planet of its resources. The great nations of Earth fell like sandcastles before the tide, and the spirit of humanity withered under alien rule. For centuries, Earth was little more than a Dominion-controlled mining world. Its people were scattered across the stars, sold as cheap labor, forced into menial roles aboard alien ships, and treated as an evolutionary dead end. To the galaxy, they were weak, broken, and irrelevant. But the galaxy had made a mistake. Deep in the underground tunnels of what was once North America, the resistance had endured. It started as whispered stories, passed from father to son, mother to daughter, legends of what humanity once was. It grew into something more, a secret movement spanning the broken cities of Earth and the countless slaves scattered among the stars. In a hidden bunker beneath the ruins of old Washington, D.C., a group of rebels gathered around a flickering hologram. Among them was Captain Elias Voss, a former Dominion enforcer who had abandoned his post upon learning the truth about Earth's history. Beside him stood Dr. Meera Patel, a scientist who had spent years salvaging stolen Dominion technology, searching for something, anything, that could give humanity an edge. "This is it," Meera whispered, adjusting her glasses as the hologram displayed a colossal Dominion vessel in orbit around Jupiter. The Ark of Chains, a ship that transported human slaves between Dominion worlds, carrying thousands of their people in cryostasis. Elias exhaled sharply. "If we take that ship, we don't just rescue them, we prove to the galaxy that we're not extinct." Myra's eyes burned with determination. "More than that. If we take that ship, we get access to Dominion navigation data. We'll know where our people are, where their bases are. This is how we start fighting back." A murmur of agreement spread through the gathered rebels. Among them were ex-soldiers, engineers, hackers, and smugglers, humans who had lived in the shadows, waiting for the right moment. This was it. Elias turned to Reiko, a cybernetically enhanced former gladiator who had once fought in the Dominion's blood sports. His mechanical arm whirred as he flexed his fingers. "You in?" Reiko grinned. "I've been waiting for this my whole damn life." The plan was risky, borderline suicidal. The Ark of Chains was heavily fortified, patrolled by the Dominion's elite forces. But the rebels had one advantage: the galaxy had forgotten how dangerous humans could be. They would hijack a Dominion patrol ship, slip past security using stolen ID tags, and board the Ark under the guise of a routine prisoner transfer. If all went well, they would reach the ship's command deck, take control of the vessel, and jump to a hidden sector before Dominion reinforcements arrived. If they failed, they wouldn't live long enough to regret it. As they finalized their plan, an old Earth song played from a battered speaker in the corner of the room. The lyrics were barely audible, a relic of a past long buried. But as the resistance prepared for battle, one thing was clear. Humanity was done kneeling. The stolen Dominion patrol ship drifted toward the Ark of Chains, silent against the vast emptiness of space. From the outside, it looked like any other vessel patrolling the sector, a dull gray construct with the Dominion's insignia, sleek yet practical, carrying the weight of oppression in its very design. Inside, however, Elias Voss and his team were preparing for war. "Final check," Elias said, his voice steady as he fastened his combat harness. "We get in, neutralize command, take control, and jump out. No unnecessary risks." The team moved with practiced efficiency. Dr. Meera Patel sat at the console, reviewing Dominion access codes one last time. Reiko, the cybernetically enhanced gladiator, adjusted his magnetic gauntlets, flexing his fingers with a grin. Juno Vex, an infiltration specialist with a history of hacking Dominion security, scanned the stolen ID tags one by one. All green, Juno confirmed. These should get us past the first checkpoint, but after that, we're on our own. Then we improvise, Elias replied. Just like old times. A tense silence settled over the group as they neared the docking bay of the Ark of Chains. This was the largest human transport vessel in Dominion space, a mobile prison that cycled between conquered worlds, carrying thousands of frozen captives to labor camps or scientific experiments. If humanity had a chance to rebuild, this ship was a vital first step. As their stolen patrol craft connected with the Ark's docking clamps, a Dominion officer's voice crackled through the comms. Vessel 4X-29, confirm your prisoner transfer authorization. Juno quickly activated the stolen transponder codes. A moment of silence followed. Then, authorization accepted. Proceed. Meera exhaled in relief. Elias gave a sharp nod. Let's move. The airlock doors hissed open, revealing a metallic corridor lined with Dominion soldiers. The Ark's interior was a cold, clinical structure, sterile gray walls illuminated by dim blue lighting. Every Dominion ship had the same lifeless design, efficiency prioritized over comfort. Elias and his team stepped forward in full Dominion armor, their faces obscured by dark visors. Their stolen uniforms fit perfectly, blending them into the enemy ranks. A towering Zorthar commander approached them, his reptilian features twisted in mild disinterest. His exoskeletal armor was adorned with ceremonial spikes, a sign of his warrior caste. How many prisoners? The Zorthar grunted. Reiko responded in perfect Dominion dialect, his deep voice carrying the weight of authority. 7 for processing. Special transfer orders from High Command. The Zorthar sneered but didn't question it. Humans were beneath his concern. Take them to holding block 47. We're scheduled for departure in 20 minutes. Elias nodded. Understood. The team moved forward, their steps measured. The Ark of Chains was a massive vessel, nearly 5 kilometers long, with entire sections dedicated to cryo-storage, security, and transport operations. But their target wasn't holding block 47. They needed to reach the command deck, and they had less than 20 minutes to do it, As they turned a corner, Juno subtly tapped her wrist display, sending a silent signal to Meera. Now. Meera, still aboard the patrol craft, initiated the second phase of their plan. She hacked into the Ark's internal systems, isolating security cameras and triggering a false alarm in the lower cargo bay. Immediately, sirens blared. Attention all security personnel, a Dominion AI voice announced. Unauthorized movement detected in cargo hold C-12. Investigate immediately. Elias watched as Dominion guards abandoned their posts, rushing toward the supposed breach. Perfect. Move, he whispered. The team broke formation, veering toward a restricted corridor. With most of the guards distracted, they had a clear path to the central lift leading to the command deck. But just as they reached the door, a patrol squad turned the corner. For a second, there was silence. Then, a Dominion soldier's eyes narrowed. Wait a minute. Reiko didn't let him finish. Crack. His cybernetic fist collided with the soldier's helmet, sending him crashing into the wall. Before the others could react, Elias and Juno opened fire, silenced energy rounds cutting them down instantly, The bodies hit the floor. No alarms triggered. Go, Elias ordered, stepping over the fallen guards. They entered the lift, Reiko jamming the override panel to prevent pursuit. The doors slid shut, and they began ascending toward the command deck. Myra's voice crackled over the comms. You've got 5 minutes before the Dominion realizes the cargo bay alert is fake. Whatever you're doing, do it fast. Elias checked his rifle. Copy that. As the lift climbed higher, tension thickened in the air. The command deck would be heavily guarded, and once they made their move, there would be no going back. But that didn't matter. Because tonight, for the first time in centuries, humanity was fighting back. The lift hummed softly as it ascended toward the command deck. Elias Voss felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him, but his grip on his rifle was steady. This was the make-or-break point of their mission: seize the bridge, take control of the ship, and escape before the Dominion realized what was happening. Across from him, Reiko rolled his shoulders, his cybernetic arm whirring as he flexed his fingers. Juno Vex adjusted the grip on her silenced energy pistol, her breath measured, her golden eyes flicking between the doors and the small holographic readout on her wrist. The comms crackled to life. Dr. Meera Patel, watching from their stolen patrol ship, spoke in hushed urgency. Listen up, you're walking into a war zone. The command deck has at least 15 guards, all Dominion elite. You'll need to hit them fast. Elias exhaled. We've got one shot at this. Juno smirked. Then we better make it count. The lift dinged, and the doors slid open. The command deck stretched before them, a massive chamber lined with Dominion consoles and holo displays. Towering windows framed the vastness of space, giving the bridge an almost serene quality. But the soldiers inside were anything but serene. 15 heavily armored Dominion enforcers stood at their posts, their weapons holstered but within easy reach. At the center of them was Captain Valzon, a massive Zorthar warrior, his dark exoskeletal armor gleaming under the dim lights. His reptilian features twisted in a permanent scowl, and his four-clawed fingers rested near the shock baton at his belt. The Dominion had expected nothing. The humans were supposed to be mindless slaves. Weak. Forgotten. They never saw the attack coming. Elias fired first. His rifle's silenced rounds tore through the nearest guard's throat, sending him crashing to the floor with a wet gurgle. Juno pivoted left, placing 2 perfect headshots in rapid succession. Reiko? He didn't bother with weapons. He charged, closing the distance between him and a stunned Dominion enforcer in seconds. His cybernetic fist caved in the alien skull, sending blood splattering across the command consoles. The element of surprise bought them 3 seconds. Then chaos erupted. Sirens wailed. Valzon roared in fury, drawing his shock baton and smashing it down toward Reiko, ***, who caught the weapon mid-swing, his cybernetic grip crushing the baton like brittle glass, ***. Pathetic, Reiko sneered, before headbutting Valzon with enough force to send him staggering back. Dominion enforcers scrambled for cover, shouting in their guttural language. Bolts of plasma fire erupted from all sides. Elias ducked low, rolled to the right, and sent a precise shot through a guard's visor. Another lunged at him, only to be met with the butt of his rifle cracking into their jaw. Juno vaulted over a console, blasting away 2 more soldiers in midair. She landed in a crouch, spun, and emptied the rest of her clip into the nearest enforcer before switching to her combat knife. Valzon, regaining his footing, roared in rage. You worthless filth. You think you can take this ship? Reiko grinned, not think. No. He drove his fist straight into Valzon's gut, sending the Zorthar flying backward into the main console with a sickening crunch. The alien captain collapsed, coughing up dark ichor, his exoskeletal armor cracked. The last enforcer standing attempted to call for reinforcements, ***, but Juno was faster, ***. She threw her combat knife, the blade embedding itself into the enforcer's throat before they could scream. Silence fell. Only the wailing alarms and the flickering of red emergency lights remained. Elias, chest heaving, scanned the room. Status? Reiko wiped alien blood off his knuckles. Still standing. Juno yanked her knife from the fallen enforcer and grinned. I'd say that went well. Myra's voice blared through their comms, you maniacs just alerted every Dominion warship in the sector. Tell me you've secured the ship. Elias rushed to the central command console, pushing aside the groaning form of Valzon. "We've got the bridge." Juno started typing into the controls, her hacking skills put to the test. "Give me 60 seconds to override the ship's lockdown and prepare a hyperspace jump." "Make it 30, Elias said. Valzon, barely clinging to consciousness, chuckled darkly. "You have no idea what you've done." Elias pressed the barrel of his rifle against the captain's head. "Oh, I do." Valzon's smile widened despite the pain. "No matter where you run, the Dominion will come for you." Elias didn't blink. "Then let them." With that, he pulled the trigger. Valzon's body slumped over, and humanity's first true victory in centuries was sealed in blood. Juno's console beeped. "We're ready. Coordinates locked. Jumping in 3, 2, 1. The arc of chains rumbled, its engines roaring as space itself seemed to distort around it. The stars outside twisted, then snapped into a bright blur. The stolen ship, carrying thousands of frozen human captives, vanished into hyperspace. Humanity had just struck its first blow against the Dominion. And the war had only begun. The arc of chains roared through hyperspace, its massive engines burning white-hot as it tore away from Dominion-controlled space. The stolen vessel carried more than just its crew of rebels, it held the future of humanity within its steel walls. Thousands of human captives lay in cryostasis, frozen relics of a forgotten past. In the command center, Elias Voss stood over the controls, his eyes locked onto the navigation display. Juno Vex had punched in coordinates for a remote sector, an uncharted region deep within an asteroid field. If they were lucky, the Dominion wouldn't find them before they were ready. But luck had never been humanity's ally. The comms crackled to life. Dr. Meera Patel's voice came through, sharp with urgency. "We've got a problem." Elias turned, sensing the tension in her tone. "What is it?" Meera, still aboard the stolen Dominion patrol craft tethered to the Ark, had been scanning the ship's deeper systems. The Dominion wasn't just storing prisoners here. "I found classified files buried in the security archives, records on Project Extinction." Juno's fingers froze over her console. "That doesn't sound like a happy little research project." "It's not." Myra's voice was grim. "It's a coordinated effort to wipe out the last remnants of free humanity. The Dominion believes our species is a failed evolutionary offshoot, and they've been systematically exterminating the scattered survivors across the galaxy." Silence gripped the room. Elias clenched his fists. They had always known that humanity was persecuted, but this was different. This was planned extinction. Reiko, leaning against the bulkhead, cracked his knuckles. "So, what's our play? We've got a ship full of frozen people. What do we do with them?" Myra's voice softened. "We wake them up." Elias nodded. "Juno, get the stasis pods online. Reiko, prepare for possible resistance. We don't know how these people will react after being frozen for decades." Juno rolled her eyes. "Yeah, because waking up from a nightmare to find out you're in a stolen warship piloted by insurgents is gonna be a smooth transition." Reiko grinned. "We'll handle it." Minutes later, the cryopods in the lower decks began to thaw. The process was slow, the ice cracking as the machinery whirred to life. One by one, the pods hissed open, releasing their slumbering occupants into reality. Elias stood at the main observation deck, watching as the first survivors stirred. A woman, mid-30s, dark hair, sunken eyes, gasped as she stumbled out of her pod, her limbs weak from decades of cryo-sleep. Others followed, men and women, young and old, all wearing tattered remains of pre-Dominion Earth clothing. They blinked in confusion. Some recoiled in fear. Others simply wept. Elias took a deep breath. This was it. He stepped forward, his voice firm but steady. "I know you have questions. I know you're scared. But listen to me, you are free, the Dominion is no longer in control. You're aboard a stolen ship, surrounded by people who refused to let humanity die. The survivors exchanged glances, disbelief in their eyes. One of them, a former soldier, judging by his bearing, spoke up, his voice hoarse. You said we're free. But for how long? Elias met his gaze. For as long as we fight. Silence stretched for a moment. Then another voice, a woman, her expression fierce despite her frailty, spoke. What do you need us to do? Elias smiled grimly. First, you get your strength back. Then we show the galaxy that Earth fights back. The sleeping army had awakened. And the war was far from over. The Arc of Chains drifted in the heart of an uncharted asteroid field, its engines running cold to avoid detection. The once prison ship had become something more, a sanctuary, a war machine, a crucible where humanity would be reforged. On the command deck, Elias Voss stared at the tactical readout, his mind calculating the next steps. They had won their first battle, but war was coming. The Dominion would not sit idle after the loss of their prison ship. Every second counted. Behind him, Juno Vex whistled as she studied a display of the Arc systems. Well, I've got good news and bad news. Elias glanced over his shoulder. Start with the bad. Juno smirked. Always do. This ship wasn't built for combat, it's a transport. Sure, she's got armor, but weapons? Barely anything. A couple of plasma turrets, a few short-range disruptors. Against a single Dominion patrol ship, we might hold out. Against a fleet? She mimed an explosion with her hands. We'd be dust in seconds. Elias exhaled. And the good? Juno's grin widened. This baby's got space. Lots of it. Cryobays, cargo holds, old maintenance tunnels, all perfect for converting into a training facility. We may not have a proper army, but we can build one. Elias turned to the viewport, looking down at the lower decks where the awakened prisoners were gathering. Hundreds of them, weak from decades in cryo, but with fire in their eyes. They had been slaves. Experiments. Forgotten relics of a species the Dominion had tried to erase. But not anymore. Elias tapped his comm. Reiko, how are they holding up? The cybernetic warrior's deep voice rumbled over the line. They're weak, but they've got heart. Some were soldiers before the Dominion took them, old Earth militaries, colony defenders. Others? Just survivors. We're sorting through them now. Elias nodded. Good. Meet me in the main cargo hold. It's time we gave them a choice. The birth of an army. The main cargo hold had become a makeshift meeting ground. The survivors, over 4,000 humans stood in the dim, metallic space, murmuring amongst themselves. Some clung to each other, still processing the fact that they were free. Others stood rigid, their instincts already shifting toward survival. Elias stepped forward, Reiko and Juno flanking him. The crowd quieted. All eyes locked on them. He didn't raise his voice, but the weight of his words carried through the silence. You all know what the Dominion is, Elias began. You've lived through their cruelty. You've seen your families taken. You felt the cold grip of their control. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. The truth is, we shouldn't be here, Elias continued. Humanity wasn't just conquered, it was erased. Our worlds burned. Our history was rewritten. We were meant to disappear. His jaw clenched. But we didn't. The tension in the room shifted, people straightened, eyes narrowing. Elias took a step forward. We stole this ship. We freed you. But survival isn't enough. Hiding isn't enough. His gaze hardened. If we want to live, we have to fight. Silence. Then a single voice. With what? A man stepped forward. He was older, maybe in his late 50s, his face lined with age but his body still strong. His clothes were tattered remnants of an old Earth combat uniform. Elias studied him. "Your name?" ***, Captain Adrian Locke, ***, the man squared his shoulders. "Before the Dominion came, I led a battalion in Earth's defense forces. And I've seen war." His voice was grim. "We can't just throw people into battle with nothing but hope. You want an army? Then we need weapons, ships, training." Reiko folded his arms. "Then let's get started." Captain Locke arched a brow. "You have a plan?" Elias smirked. "We've got a shipyard. The foundry of war." The abandoned station drifted on the edge of the asteroid field, forgotten by time. It had once been a Dominion outpost, used to process mining operations centuries ago, until it had been deemed obsolete and left to rot. Now, it would become humanity's first stronghold. Juno stared at the station's holographic layout. "She's seen better days, but there's good news, there's still tech inside, industrial fabricators, ship repair docks, even old Dominion security systems we can repurpose." Myra's voice crackled over the comm, "We can use the fabricators to craft weapons. It won't be cutting-edge Dominion tech, but it'll be ours." Elias looked at Captain Locke. "Think you can train these people to fight?" Locke's lips curled into a grim smile. "Give me time. We may not be soldiers yet, but we will be." Elias nodded. Humanity's first true stronghold was about to take shape. They weren't just survivors anymore. They were the beginning of a rebellion. The Arc of Chains hovered silently near the abandoned station, its dark silhouette blending into the asteroid field. What had once been an obsolete Dominion mining outpost was now humanity's first hidden fortress, a place to train, to rebuild, and to prepare for the war that was coming. The station had been stripped bare long ago, but remnants of its former purpose remained, industrial fabricators, dormant repair bays, even forgotten Dominion cargo crates sealed in vacuum-locked storage, with Mira and Juno working day and night. They were bringing the systems back online, turning rusted machinery into working assembly lines. In one of the massive docking bays, Elias watched as a group of former prisoners lined up in repurposed Dominion armor, their movements stiff but eager. Across from them, Captain Adrian Locke paced, his sharp eyes scanning their ranks. "Most of you were never soldiers," Locke said, voice cold and firm. "Some of you were, but it's been decades since you held a weapon. That ends today." He gestured to the weapons crates behind him. Handmade rifles. Blades. Plasma pistols scavenged from Dominion corpses, This is what we have. It's not much, but war isn't about what you want, it's about what you can use. Locke grabbed a rifle and tossed it to one of the trainees. "You will learn to fight. You will learn to kill. Because the Dominion does not hesitate. They do not take prisoners. And the moment they find us, they will burn us alive." The assembled humans stood straighter. Some swallowed hard. Others clenched their fists. Locke nodded. "Training starts now. Weaponizing the forgotten." Days turned into weeks. The hollow corridors of the abandoned station echoed with the sounds of battle drills. The survivors, once broken, lost souls were transforming. They were learning. They learned to fire salvaged weapons with precision. They learned to fight in zero-G, a necessity for space combat. They learned the art of guerrilla warfare, striking and fading before the enemy could react. The weak became strong. The frightened became ruthless. The forgotten became warriors. Reiko grinned as he sparred with a younger recruit, his cybernetic arm a blur as he deflected blows. "Come on, kid. You're fighting like a Dominion bureaucrat." The recruit lunged, Reiko sidestepped and sent him crashing to the floor, Nearby, Juno sat cross-legged on a crate, modifying a plasma pistol. "We're gonna need better weapons soon," she muttered to Elias. "Salvaged junk won't cut it against Dominion forces." Elias exhaled. "Then we find some. Juno raised an eyebrow. I assume that means stealing. Elias smirked. Obviously. The first strike. Myra's voice echoed over the command deck. I found something. Everyone turned. On the Holidable, a Dominion supply convoy flickered into view, a heavily armed freighter, escorted by 2 patrol ships. It was scheduled to pass through a nearby trade route, completely unaware of humanity's presence. They're carrying military-grade weapons and medical supplies, Mira explained. If we take that ship, we'll have enough firepower to actually stand a chance. Locke studied the convoy's details. And if we fail? Elias didn't hesitate. Then we die. But if we succeed? Juno grinned, spinning a knife between her fingers. Then we start a war. Reiko cracked his knuckles. I say we stop talking and get to work. Elias nodded. Humanity had trained. Now it was time to fight, ***. The ambush. The Dominion freighter and its escorts glided through the void, unaware of the death waiting for them. The Ark of Chains and the stolen Dominion patrol ship lay hidden in the shadow of a massive asteroid, powered down, cold as space itself. Inside the Ark's command deck, Juno watched the enemy ships through a targeting display. They have no idea we're here. Elias gripped the comm. Reiko, you in position? Down in the launch bay, Reiko and a team of boarding troops stood ready in a repurposed Dominion dropship. Reiko smirked. You even have to ask? Elias turned back to Mira. On my signal, hit them with the jamming pulse. We cut their comms and go in fast. Myra's fingers hovered over the controls. Ready. Elias exhaled. Do it. The Ark's electronic warfare systems roared to life, flooding the Dominion ships with signal interference. The patrol ships reacted immediately, their weapons powering up, but it was already too late. The stolen Dominion dropship burst from the asteroid field like a spear, engines burning hot as it slammed toward the freighter's airlock. Inside, Reiko braced himself as the ship shuddered on impact. Let's go. The airlock hissed open, and human soldiers stormed inside, opening fire on the stunned Dominion crew. Plasma bolts lit up the corridors. Reiko's cybernetic arm deflected a blade strike, then he drove his fist through an enemy's chest. Too slow, he growled. Elias and Juno moved in from the other side, their squad cutting down the guards before they could react. The bridge was taken within minutes. Juno hacked into the ship's controls. Cargo secured. We just stole ourselves a war chest. Elias exhaled, standing over the bodies of the fallen Dominion officers. Then it begins. The rebellion had drawn its first blood. The Dominion would know fear. Humanity had come a long way since the Ark of Chains had first set out from the Dominion's prison hold. Now, it was no longer a single stolen ship, it was the heart of a growing rebellion. The ambush on the Dominion freighter had sent ripples through the galaxy, a signal to all who had suffered under the Dominion's heel. Humanity was fighting back. In the weeks that followed, the rebel fleet had swelled in numbers, more ships liberated, more survivors recruited, more warriors forged from the forgotten. The abandoned station had been transformed from a fragile base into a mobile war engine. Every corner of the galaxy now held whispers of humanity's resurgence. And the Dominion? They had noticed. The Dominion's response. In the depths of the Dominion High Command, a meeting of the galaxy's most powerful military minds was underway. The failure of the security convoy was just the beginning. Admiral Varka stood before a giant hollow table, her face grim as she surveyed the growing intelligence reports. The humans, they're organizing, Varka's voice was icy. What began as a simple jailbreak has escalated. They've captured Dominion tech. Repaired our ships. They've begun to sabotage supply lines and assault minor outposts. A subordinate stepped forward, his voice trembling. But, Admiral, they're just humans. They were nothing before. How could they? Varka silenced him with a cold stare. Underestimate them at your own peril. We thought they were weak. We thought them a forgotten species. She turned to the holographic map of the galaxy. Now they're a threat. A growing rebellion. A voice from behind her spoke, **** Supreme Overlord Kale ****, the architect of humanity's near extinction. His voice was like a hiss, every word steeped in contempt. We gave them no power. We took their worlds. They should have been eradicated, forgotten. Instead, they've found the strength to fight. And they will pay the price for it. Varka nodded. Then we will finish what we started. The battle for the galaxy's soul. On the edge of Dominion space, the rebel fleet prepared for the battle that would define the future of humanity. Elias Voss stood on the command deck of the Ark of Chains, the largest ship in the fleet, staring out at the Dominion fleet gathering on the horizon. This was no longer about survival, this was about revenge, this was about humanity's right to exist. Reiko approached, his cybernetic arm clicking with every step. It's a hell of a fight we're walking into. Elias nodded, his jaw clenched. We knew it would come to this. It's us or them. Captain Locke stepped forward, his voice rough but filled with determination. We've trained our soldiers. We've built our fleet. The Dominion thought they could crush us. Now we show them how wrong they were. Juno stood near the console, her fingers flying over the controls. Our ships are ready. We've got tech they've never seen. We'll hit them hard and fast. Meera Patel stepped forward, holding a tablet. I've hacked into their comms. We've got their entire battle plan. They won't expect us to split their forces. Elias smiled grimly. Then let's make sure they never recover from this. The war was no longer just about freedom. It was about vengeance, a chance to remake the galaxy in humanity's image. The final strike. The two fleets met at Starfire's Reach, a distant and neutral sector of space. It was a battle that would shape the future of the galaxy. The Dominion's warships, sleek and intimidating, outnumbered humanity's ragtag force by at least 3-1. But what the Dominion didn't have was heart, and humanity had an infinite supply of it. As the battle raged, human ingenuity proved to be the deciding factor. Juno's rapid modifications to the rebel ships gave them improved shields and cloaking tech, turning the tide as they struck deep into Dominion lines. Reiko led a brutal boarding action against one of the Dominion dreadnoughts, cutting through the enemy ranks like a hot knife through butter. His cybernetic enhancements made him nearly unstoppable, and soon the Dominion ship was theirs. Meanwhile, on the command deck of the Ark of Chains, Elias had one final strike planned. He turned to Meera. You have the codes? Meera nodded, her fingers flying across the keys. Ready. Just say the word. Elias gave the order, and the rebel ships launched their final assault. A swarm of missiles targeted the Dominion flagship's weak points, tearing into its defenses. As the Ark of Chains tore through the Dominion lines, its massive weapons unleashed hellfire upon the enemy fleet. The Dominion's shields failed, and humanity's forces closed in for the kill. The final blow came from a single shot fired from the Ark of Chains' main cannon, an EMP blast so powerful it disabled the Dominion flagship completely, leaving it drifting in space like a dead carcass. The Dominion forces fell into disarray. With their flagship destroyed, their once feared military turned into a rout. Ships surrendered, while others tried to flee. The galaxy had watched, and the impossible had been achieved. Humanity had won. A new dawn. Months later, Elias Voss stood on the deck of the Ark of Chains, looking out over the remains of the once mighty Dominion fleet now scattered across the stars. The war had been long and brutal, but humanity had come out victorious. The galaxy, once on the brink of extinction, now looked to Earth, not with fear, but with awe. The rebellion had turned into something greater. It had become a symbol of what humanity could accomplish when pushed to the edge. Across the stars, humanity was rebuilding. Former colonies, scattered worlds, and devastated people now rallied under a common banner, ****, the flag of a free humanity, ****. Elias, Reiko, Juno, Locke, and the others watched as the new Earth fleet took shape, a fleet built from the ashes of oppression, ready to defend what they had won. "We did it," Juno said, a rare smile crossing her face. Elias nodded. "We did. The war was over. Humanity was no longer a forgotten species, they were the dominant power in the galaxy, and this was only the beginning. The stars were theirs to command.